Hey, 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 it's Tia, baby. And I am back with another video. So I see that it's something different going on in the background. I do not have my usual background because when I did my hair, I didn't realize until later that I couldn't do my green screen because I have green in my hair and it will mess up the background, meaning my hair would disappear in the video if I add a green screen. So that's why it's no background. But I'm still gonna continue on with the video. So today I'm gonna talk about an article that a supporter sent me a while back, but I wasn't able to do it. I was intending to do this video last week, but because the dictator had a rant on social media, I just did that video last week and I postponed the original video for this week. So this article, I'm going to read the article in its entirety and then I'm going to give my commentary on it. So this article is in reference to Martin Gomez, who was Selena's designer or helped with, her boutique. He worked in her boutique. He helped, create a lot of, the Selena's iconic outfits on stage, off stage, all of that great stuff. And so let's get to the article. So Martin Gomez is an integral part of the fashion legacy as Selena's exclusive fashion designer. He created some of her most iconic looks and worked closely with the singer to build what would become her brand. Still dreaming of her living with Selena 25 years later. The image of glamour in her head and my head were the same, Gomez said. The San Antonio native now lives in Duluth, Minnesota, with his wife and 2 kids. Now, I thought that he was gay, but I was told by someone who's from Texas that told me that he wasn't gay, that he had a wife and kids. So I've been knew that he wasn't gay for some months now, but I'm just saying, like, before that person told me he's a supporter, I did not even know he wasn't gay. I mean, but that just shows that you shouldn't stereotype people just because a man is feminine does not mean that they are homosexual. And if they are, fine. If they're not, fine. That's just an example. But let's read on. So he now lives in Minnesota with his wife and 2 children and has built a successful career working with global corporations in product development, merchandising, and more. I just remember thinking, God, this girl is smart. She's an incredible vision and our dreams coincide. Our dreams were identical, and we found out soon enough that our lives have been kind of identical. Gomez has largely avoided talking about Selena, turning down most requests for interviews and personal appearances. He says he frequently been asked to write a book but refused because he didn't want to be seen as making money from his friend's death, unlike her own family, hence the dictator and the sibling. And he says he still hasn't recovered from it. But 25 years later, Gomez is finally ready to tell his story. He has written a book on his own terms about his relationship with the Tejano singer. A story of friendship and fashion. Gomez took a year off to write about what he and Selena did in the 90s, which was essentially to create a celebrity fashion and lifestyle brand. He turned the 4th floor of his 11,000 square foot mansion into an office and pulled boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff out of the basement, chronicling his time with Selena, which lasted almost 2 years. I have portfolios and sketches and volumes of notes that I have written. Selena would call me and I would start writing things down. It was as an incredible time. Gomez said, I wrote little diaries. The first 2 volumes are just dreams of hope and excitement. I'm just writing to myself how much fun it is dancing with her and playing with fabric. Gomez met Selena by chance at a mall in Corpus Christi. He was in an exclusive training program. No, I'm sorry. He was in an executive training program. Tejano Music, and he admits he did not know who she was. But Gomez was drawn to the young singer. She was exceptionally beautiful. I was just being coy and went up and asked for an autograph. She sprung up a conversation with me because of where I worked. She found out that I was a fashion designer, and that's how it all started, he remembers. She just wanted to talk about fashion. That conversation became a bond. We just had so much in common. It was almost kind of natural that we became friends. Intrigued, Selena later returned to find Gomez at the store. She told him she wanted to open her own boutique and explore fashion. She gave him her number, and they met several more times. They were both newlyweds, married just 2 months apart. Gomez was equally curious and showed Selena his design portfolio. But when she offered him a job, he turned her down. He was committed to the program at Dillard's and wasn't sure about taking a chance on a project built on conversation and dreams. Selena No Prize eventually got her way, and Gomez agreed to become her executive designer. She was so sincere. She kind of talked me into it, he says. I didn't really think I would ever do it. Where I came from, things like that just don't happen. I was lucky to go to college. I would have been happy being a manager of a department store. I know I wanted to do something. I just didn't know what that was. Talking to Selena, she knew what it was, and she had the map in her head. She just needed my skill to do it. The first costume Gomez created for Selena, dubbed Green Leaves, with bustier with green leaves and chiffon shoulders. She nixed the chiffon, and it was reworked into the stunning flamingo outfit, now housed in the Selena Museum in Corpus Christi. Gomez also created the 2 looks Selena wore at a 1994 San Antonio fashion show for the brand. A white keyhole top with a flowing skirt, and a red bustier with matching jeans and boots she wore for a post-show performance. The look were inspired by classic stars including Cher and Diana Ross. Even today, Gomez says, seeing the clothes triggers a flood of emotion. All these designs are wrapped up with fun memories we were dreaming of creating this brand. Gomez says he's not a fan of the 1997 movie costumes, which he says were ill-fitting. Wow, I didn't even know that. If you look at the pictures of Selena's costumes, they fit her like a glove. She would call me from God knows where, and I would illustrate them. We were also creating something that worked for her body type. Selena's waist was tiny, her hips would fluctuate, and her legs were big. Despite her increasing but busy schedule, Gomez says Selena would find a few hours to get together with Gomez and worked on their ideas. He would talk to her about Halston, Chanel, and Dior, and said Selena would drink up what I would tell her. She had goals of moving beyond clothing to fragrances and shoes, unheard of at that time. She was a dreamer, Gomez said, but it's an understatement to say that she was just nice. She was a businesswoman. She was fascinated with education. The first Selena, etc. boutique opened in 1994 in Corpus Christi, followed by a second in San Antonio. Gomez hired seamstresses and bought equipment and materials in New York to manufacture Selena's line at their factory in Corpus, with plans to eventually sell to department stores. They were making 300 to 400 pieces a month, selling original designs, Selena merchandise, and accessories. Gomez said it was Selena's idea to put his name on the label. Designs by Martin Gomez exclusively for Selena. This is how incredibly collaborative and kind this woman was. Gomez says the San Antonio store closed in 1999, 4 years after her death. Corpus followed a decade later. I was shocked. She goes, I wanted your name on the label. No celebrity in today's world would agree to that. Gomez left the business in early 1995, just 2 months before Selena was killed because of his increasing unease with Yolanda Saldivar, the fan club president who convinced Selena's increasing unease with Yolanda Saldivar. Who was convicted of Selena's murder. In one of his diaries, Gomez writes, I hate going into work. This woman is scaring me. She's going to hurt me. Writing the book, this has been cathartic. It's enabled Gomez to revisit the good memories It enabled Gomez to revisit the good memories he has of his time with Selena, and he hoped it will impart another equally important story of pain and resilience of a boy who was bullied and called queer because he was deemed different. There's a chapter in the book that uses that word as it is titled. I'm a Mexican kid from the south side of town in San Antonio who was raised by a mom who worked as a maid, lived in Section 8 housing, and survived via food stamps. He said, it's virtually impossible to get into the fashion business. I wanted to share the story about what we did in 1993. It's a story of hope for some kid who gets called names because he likes to play with dolls or two. And ultimately, it's another facet to understand the singer who was gone too soon. This girl was amazingly nice, ethical, sweet. Literally, I have nothing. She wasn't of this world, man. Gomez said, his voice trailing off into tears. That's the only way that my psyche can deal with that fact that she's not here. She wasn't of this world. Wow. So I really felt his words. I really can imagine. I really think if and when he writes his book, I really think that I will enjoy this book as much as I enjoyed the book that Chris wrote. When I was reading that article, even though, excuse me for stumbling over my words, I'm a little tired, but I'm trying to push through to this video. But I really can picture some of the things that he was talking about when he was explaining his memories with Selena. So I'm very excited to hear about him possibly writing a book, and I hope that the dictator and whoever else in his camp won't try to stop him. Now, I did not know that he did not like the costumes that were in the movie. Sorry, Bert. In the movie. Because I didn't really think if he was involved with the movie, but obviously he wasn't, because he wouldn't say he didn't like the costumes, because they were kind of identical. I know that they weren't like exactly alike, because certain pants that J-Lo was wearing were high-waisted versus Selena's. It was like cut below the belly button, but they were quite similar. But I didn't know that he didn't approve of that. He didn't like it. He said that it didn't fit J-Lo well when he did his designs on Selena. It fit like a glove. So I was not aware that he didn't like the costumes. But I really don't have much to say about it, because I've been rooting for this man for a long time, because he was very much mentioned in Chris' book, and how he tried to convince the dictator, tried to convince Selena that Yolanda was up to no good, but nobody really believed him at first for a long time, until Yolanda until there was proof that she stole money. But still, like I said plenty of times before, that the dictator did not do a great job with handling that situation. He just let her go free. But yeah, I felt like Martin Gomez was the only one that really tried to save her life. Like he was the one that finally convinced Selena that Yolanda was no good. And he was saying the things that everybody wished to this day that would have said that to her early on. He was already saying these things to her. He said to her that he thinks that she was going to hurt her. Now, he said he thinks that she probably meant figuratively, but he meant literally. And all of that. And, you know, he was really blunt with her because he really cared about Selena. That was his friend, if not best friend. That was his partner. That was his, you know, not only his business partner, but his really good friend. And he really genuinely cared about his well-being. Not saying that nobody else was, but he was the one that really told her the truth about what was coming to her, like what he felt that was coming to her. But unfortunately, she didn't come around until it was too late. And I'm really, really looking forward to reading his story. And I hope that he does include all of the details about his conversations with Selena in reference to Yolanda and all of that. Because I think this book will even give a deeper understanding of who Selena was. And, you know, now we get, it's like we get a dissection of Selena each time. Like the 1997 movie we got the stardom version of Selena, the singer version of Selena down pat. Then when Chris did his book, we got the personal side of Selena, like the family, the marital side of Selena down pat. And then when this book comes out by Martin Gomez, hopefully, that I feel like this side, we will see the fashion sense of Selena. And, you know, and then also get more detail into what happened once he started to fear for his life from Yolanda, and how he warned her and all that. Because we only saw snippets of how he warned her in the interview, but maybe in this book, he will go straight into detail. So I cannot wait for this book. And I hope that no one tries to stop him. They shouldn't, because he didn't sign anything, I don't think. So, because he left the business, like he said, 2 months after she died. So, and I can tell that he's still hurt by it, because the last interview that he had that I put in one of my videos, he was like, he could not stop. He was crying. Like every time he talked about Selena, no matter what decade it is, he always get emotional, because it really like stuck with him for all these years, because he really tried to genuinely save her life without even really physically knowing that she was going to actually kill her. But he was so worried about her that he really tried. And I think that's why he, you know, to this day is still hard. But I think he's right. She's not of this world, because she was just, I don't want to say perfect, because she's not. No one's perfect. But she was just one of a kind. And the fact that she's gone too soon, it just shows that, you know, people like that don't really live that long, because they're one of a kind. And it's unfortunate that they don't get to live that long. But, you know, it is what it is. But I can't, like I said, I can't wait for the book, because I want to know his story and their story as friends in the fashion world. So I know this was kind of brief, but I'm a little tired right now. Like, I'm sleepy. And I'm trying to keep my eyes open, but clearly I can't. But yeah, I will get back with you with another video. And thank you guys for the support on the last 2 videos. And I will get back with you with another video next time. Peace.